Jane, though, has been left to go blind for the remainder of her short life.
Something about a prisoner in the island's industrial
Now we have to
zone.
go
According
locate
to
a
US
prisoner
press
who is
sources, this lab was
responsible
built
for
a
mining
physicist, Dr.
rhenium
Maida,
on
who
this
designed
island
some sort of super armor alloy.
and turning it
Sending
into
you his
literal
profile.
goddamn super alloy Z.
Oh boy.
We're rescuing Juzo Kabuto. I'm sorry, Toshio Maeda, but it might as well be Kabuto.
The prisoner Jane mentioned must be Dr. Maida.
Wait, Toshio Maeda, wasn't that the guy that did Legend of the Overfiend? I've said too much. I'd better go.
Yep, heading up Brat Fuji. Again, you know why I said this is Super Alloy Z, because if you recall in Mazinger, that, like, Mount Fuji is where the Super Alloy was found.
Yep.
Oh, man. When we meet Maeda at the end of this video,
No more.
you guys are gonna be in for a treat.
In the rhenium.
Oh boy. Maybe in retrospect I should not have bought Menful.
Mission 6 starts. Bringing back the sniper rifle. Because it's always nice to have for those headshots.
It looks all clear.
This is one of the I'd say, like, in the overall hierarchy of, like, levels and their quality, like, this one's better than Chapter 4, but, like, I think it's overall kind of unremarkable just because as you'll find, this is one of the few, one of two levels in which it does not end with a boss fight. Yeah, so it's a lot more focused on just doing the regular enemy counters for about 20 minutes.
Plus it's, set in an industrial area, like, that's, stock video game setting number 3.
Yeah.
Right after Grassland and Iceland.
I still
I
love
assume we'll get to
that-
Volcano World later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that technically doubles that because we're like, well, we're at least in close proximity to it.
Yeah.
Fuck those flamethrowers.
Doing the slide on those stairs though, man, that must hurt.
I do still like that with this game, even though there are shield enemies, they make it very clear that there is no reason to still not use melee on them, even your fists. Because imagine how much more obnoxious the game would be if you had to somehow try and find ways to maneuver around them to hit them in the back.
Yeah, I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake the other day, and there's a whole class of enemy that comes equipped with shields. And they are annoying as hell to get behind because your dodge animation doesn't actually give you invincibility frames. And they've got shotguns.
Yeah.
That's fun.
This segment, I had planned out in my head that I would get a whole bunch of headshots and I would be like a super badass, but it kind of didn't work out that way, and my M'Baku timer ends up running out in a few seconds. It did not quite go the way I wanted to, but that's fine. This is still part of all the same segment, so like I quickly get back my meter to full in a few more enemies.
Okay, let's move.
Oh, this is actually pretty nice if you pay attention to the sound. Yeah, that was the sound of that dude after I threw him over the railing, falling into the molten metal and exploding.
I thought you were tossing them into the steel.
Yeah, it's actually a nice detail that I like, that it still keeps track of where it goes in the environment and doesn't just go into a bottomless abyss. Because that's totally what happens otherwise. Like, you don't really get that kind of feedback.
I think the only other game that really does that off the top of my head is the Batman Arkham games. Because if you throw someone off a ledge, then you'll hear like a crunch or a splat. Or a splash, I should say.
Yeah.
To show that he's totally not killing these people, guys.
Spider-Man, like Marvel Spider-Man for PS4 did it way better because it keeps track of the fact that like if you somehow like do a hit on an enemy and the game knows it's gonna like send them off the building and like falling eventually to their deaths, like it'll just animate Spidey like throwing a web device on him that like shoots out onto the wall and like catches him and has him just dangling from the side of the building.
Not seen that.
Yeah.
Need to get back to playing that at some point.
That game's great. I like it better than all the Batman games.
It's definitely, you know, inspired. Whoa! Confetti explosion.
Yeah, that's a good place to use the M'Baku explosion. Like, 6 kills at once.
And they were all filled with candy.
Yeah. That rail is a bit inconsistent on whether or not you can actually like jump over it or not. I've had times during practice runs where it actually did let me go over it, but most of the time it doesn't. So I just run forward and do everything I can to keep training these melee kills. Look at that twirl.
Yeah, what did you hit him with? It looks like you just sort of like gestured at him and he, like 7 foot away, just went, blah!
Steel Russian foot is perfect.
Ah. Made of Russian steel.
So here's another
And also
turret
both.
sequence, which I think you technically have to get on to trigger these enemies, but you don't actually have to stay on it. It's just more practical to do it this way by just spamming the auto aim. But again, obviously we're not going to be able to preserve our M'Baku this way, because turrets don't grant any bonuses, but this is basically the end of this big combat room. There's a few more enemies once we go down the stairs, but they don't matter.
I feel like auto aim with a turret is just cheating. Like, that's not cool, man.
I mean, you need it for this, because if too many enemies get on screen and focus fire, you are absolutely going to die in place.
Yeah, plus the fact that the environment is way too busy to pick out any individual enemies.
Yeah, that's the only really downside, just because of how, like, trying to solidify, like, how hot and this is. You know, there's a lot of red, bloom, all that shit.
Yeah, it's a high contrast area, which, unfortunately, seeing as how everyone's wearing camo fatigues, urban camo fatigues, just means they do not stand out at all.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be beef jerky.
We are now Russian Jason.
Yes!
Like that machete, I'm pretty sure is always there in the regular campaign version, but they added that ski mask there because they knew, like, it would be perfect. I am fully convinced.
It's a shame that the mask isn't close enough to Jason's actual design.
It's not, but you can see Ivan's sunglasses clip through it.
Yeah, that also is a bit of a bit problematic.
No, that's perfect. Shut up. So after we deal with these Saha grunts, when we go through that door, we're gonna have, I'm gonna say, the best use case for the sniper rifle, because it'll actually allow us to get, I think, the final score bonus that we've not really been able to get to in any normal circumstances, because it is exclusively for using like snipers in situations like this.
Do we have to cross that bridge?
It is the long shot.
Yeah, the environments haven't been particularly big.
Yeah, like, this is, I think, the second environment that I would consider one of the best in the game, like, after that one in Mission 5 where you first meet the TAC Ninjas. And it's because of how, like... Because, obviously, I'm sticking with, like, a sniper strategy for this, simply because, for score attack, if you were to just hang back with M'Baku and stack as many of these kill bonuses, like, you basically almost break even, or even you do break even, on the same amount you would have gotten if you were to just run up and do regular melee kills. Which I think is actually pretty smart in this case, in how, despite incentivizing melee a hell of a lot, it does not make the use of guns totally useless, because it's like, you might be in a situation where getting in close may not be practical because you might die. So if you're skillful with your shooting, you could take advantage of like one-shot kills and headshots and long shots, and you know, get as much points that way if you were to have just like gone in head first with like with an aim lock or something like that.
I take it the environments aren't particularly destructible, so chipping away at all the gantries and that with the turret wouldn't help much.
It wouldn't. I mean, yeah, the only really thing you have to help you in that case is that there are some exploding barrels, but I had already used them up.
Yeah, those tend to be situational at best.
And that said, though, this encounter would have been a hell of a lot more risky if I decided to just charge first into, where the enemies were on this side and spawn the helicopter.
Yeah. I take it just triggers when you cross a certain threshold?
That's correct, yeah.
Who want to secure Dr. Maida before the side moves him off the island?
Yeah, see, you can totally tell the glasses are clipping through the mask. I initially thought that those were, part of the mask itself, painted big skull eyes. But no, on closer inspection, when I was playing and looking at the cutscenes, I could still see the outside rims of the glasses, and I was like, no, wait, those are just clipping through. They didn't give a shit.
Also, how pathetic are these guys? They can take down an entire army, but 3 guys with machine guns when they've got the high ground, and it's like, oh, too scary for us. Go do go get the bad guys.
Once you go through this door, immediately break left and stay there. I am dead serious. These guys, especially because this was one of those areas where, I had used up my M'Baku and I couldn't, refill it before coming here. These guys with their machine guns, there's enough of them that they all focus fire super accurately that you have to, lure them in one by one until you can start running towards them again.
Wow.
But that's not the worst of it. Double team.
That guy has a fucking chainsaw.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure these melee weapons, if they weren't in the Wii U multiplayer as those bonus kill streak ones, I'm pretty sure that they were playing for Devil's Third Online back when that was a pipe dream. But yeah, so yeah, these heavy dudes, they don't just have the Gatling guns. We did see in Mission 4 there was one that came in with an axe, but oh, that was a bad whiff. I was trying to be a cool guy and slide backwards and hit him with a rocket, but it just flew right past.
I was gonna say, okay, that was kind of cut. Nah, you whiffed it.
Yeah. I do like that detail that for when you do slide backwards, he doesn't slide on his butt. He just turns around and just slides standing. That is badass.
That is very cool, I have to admit.
But yeah, it's with the heavy guys, the thing with the chain gunners is that while they do kill you super fast if you're at a distance, when you do close the distance and get in melee range, they have very easily telegraphed swings with their Gatling guns that makes it a lot easier to kind of stay in close and deal damage that way. But obviously, you can't do that with the ones that have the melee weapons because, their melee weapons are they're tuned for that, so they are more damaging if you get up close.
So is that a new type of katana we've got?
Yeah, these are actually from the heavy tack ninjas, the one with the blue lights. You can't start a score attack mission with that specific skin. It's it's one of those type of weapons that you can only get if you pick them up during a mission.
Ah, right.
But it's functionally identical to the regular katana in stats.
Because it looks like the katana Raiden uses in Revengeance.
Yeah, it's got a bit of that high-frequency blade look, with also a handle that feels inspired by Count Dooku's lightsaber.
Yeah, with the back handle. I think it's classed as a dueling blade, because it's based on a rapier.
Yeah.
Or a cavalry saber, something like that. Can't remember at the top of my head.
So even though I have M'Baku, I kept contemplating whether or not I wanted to just be a big cool guy and charge through those rocket turrets, but I didn't want to risk getting stun locked and wasting the timer, so I did it the intended way. I went underneath the bridge.
Coward!
I made up for it though with my fists. And throwing a katana straight into a dude's skull.
Fine, I'll let it slide this time.
And this is actually the last of the quote-unquote normal combat encounters in this mission. There is technically one more, but it's a special one.
Oh boy.
Top floor.
That oh boy could have been more enthusiastic because it deserves it.
Oh, it's apprehensive.
No, just wait, just wait.
Wait, we're getting through here. Hold position, Delta. Ivan and I will take.
Dude, you've got a guy who can literally trigger God mode and walk through bullets.
And your captain carries a Gatling gun on his hip.
Yeah, like, you guys suck.
So, I said that there was no boss, but they had to come up with some exciting way to end this mission. I like to imagine that Itagaki went into the office one day after finishing Modern Warfare 2 and was like, guys, breach segment!
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Just like the QTE, this happens only once. And it is so silly that they thought to include it.
Just... wow.
Anyway, here's Juzo Kabuto. And his cat.
Okay, I'm more interested in the cat.
Americans?
Also, I want to say
Not
that this
all
dude's
of us.
voice actor is actually Japanese and is doing his
Come on.
best to, like, talk English.
You gotta shoot me now?
His accent and
No,
delivery
not
just
yet
feels
anyway.
stilted and off in the way that,
Give me the
that
answers
makes
I
it
want,
sound
and I'll
natural.
see you get off this rock.
Yeah, that's the problem
That's
with games like this.
cause
You
for
can never
celebration.
tell if it's like, okay, English is not their first language, or if it's like, nah, we just hired people that sucked.
Join me?
Sounds like you've already got a head start on everyone else, mate.
Cat was trying to get a little taste of the sake. It's funny, like,
What the hell happened?
I completely forgot to mention, even though I have been, like, posting these in the thread with each update, but there are collectibles in this game known as war trophies, and they are all different categories. One of those categories is drinks. One of the collectible drinks is the sake that Dr. Maeda has, and the description when you look at it in the collectible screen is that he constantly gets reprimanded by his colleagues for trying to share the sake with his cat because no one else will join him for drinks. He's just so lonely working on this shit island, mining blue lava and turning it into super alloy. Like you made one of the greatest scientific discoveries in this fake 21st century, and your life is still miserable because you can't share your drinks.
Well, I'm an insufferable super
What's
genius.
the sword got to do with it?
I've alienated everyone around me. Come on, Mr. Mittens, let's get tore up.
Washington and Moscow tearing apart the Soviet Union. So the spot for bastards grabbed the mines just to keep the uranium out of their enemies'
Yeah,
hands.
Maeda is contender for
How
best
did they get
character
the
in
foothold
Devil's
on
Third.
rat?
Even
It's
though
just
he
the-
exists in just this one cutscene, he makes the
It's
best
just kind of
impression.
weird,
Private
because
security
the motion capture is him being really animated, and the voice is just flat as a board.
old Soviet connections.
It's a bit
Took
incongruous.
over an abandoned Soviet base on the far side of the island.
That's all you have.
I've also got a couple of 6-packs of beer.
Tarmia's here and networked in.
They're under the
You'll
secret
find
shelf, the one where I have my porno mags.
What about the power?
I can't.
Tell me, Russian man, have you ever heard of tentacle porn?
Enough talking.
Who's your favorite Jav artist? Ivan decides to be a gentleman. Offer up his flask.
Too country.
Though I don't know, obviously because I don't drink alcohol, so I wouldn't really know. I don't know how well it would go just taking a swig of whiskey after downing a bottle of sake.
Never actually had sake, so could not tell you.
Like I have to imagine with all the different types of alcohol and like drinks are there, like you wouldn't. I can't imagine someone wanting to just like try one after the other all these like well-known different types of alcohol.
Yeah, any kind of alcohol tasting session usually tends to be like
Also, that
one
metal
type.
grate and pipe were just floating. I don't know if you saw it. I initially thought that was just like a weird emulator issue, but then I rewatched just the like actual like footage of the cutscenes from original hardware, and that's still totally the same.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's Malachi Bratz, our final destination, which we will only get to a couple missions from now. But we have our goal.
Finally.
Yeah.
I'm waiting the entire video for something.
Yeah. Yep, that's heavy metal. It's a short mission. My score on this was like not too far ahead of where Iconoclast was, but I was still satisfied that it was like another victory on my part.
In your face.
Yeah. Someday I'll be good enough to play Ninja Gaiden 2 on Master Ninja the way he does.